Stone cold liar. Stone cold liar. He made that up, like he makes up so many other things. He never said that.
In a no-holds-barred Fox 11 interview, Governor Gavin Newsom lit into the Trump administration's response to the LA immigration protest, calling them out, fact-checking in real time, and let's be honest, flat-out labeling them liars. Not alternative facts, just lies. And he didn't stop there. Newsom went on to question whether the administration deliberately wanted to sow chaos for political gain, because nothing says leadership like turning a humanitarian issue into a campaign stunt.
Newsom, what is your main message to the people of California in this moment?
Oh, that Donald Trump is reckless. He's immoral. He's taken the illegal and unconstitutional act of federalizing the National Guard, and he's putting lives at risk.
I mean, is it truly unconstitutional? I know it's been done before.
Well, I mean, in his own executive order, it directs the Department of Defense to collaborate with state governors. So by definition, it's illegal. There was no collaboration. There was no counsel, no consideration of the rules of engagement. It was a reckless act that has led to conditions that have been exacerbated, and it's putting people's lives at risk.
So can't he declare an insurrection and go forward with this?
Yeah, he potentially can, and there's latitude. But as it relates to the actual language in his executive order, there's a reason we're going to court tomorrow, and the reason we're confident that we will succeed. That said, he's pushing now out the boundaries, whether or not we're going to get into posse comitatus, and whether or not he's going to test the theories in that case to then require the state National Guard in a federalized posture to coordinate and collaborate with ICE enforcement, which certainly would not have its precedent in 100 plus years.
Hold up, pause a sec. Do I agree with Governor Newsom taking this to court? Oh, yeah, I say yes. If Trump's out here testing the limits of executive orders like it's a constitutional stress test, then the only way we're going to get real answers is by taking it to the system. The courts exist for exactly this reason, to check power when it starts flexing a little too hard.
You think that's going to happen?
I think we're on the precipice of that being a real possibility. I have zero confidence. He's acting recklessly. He's acting unlawfully. He's putting people's lives at risk. And it's my job to clean up Donald Trump's mess, because he's making it by the hour.
You guys talked the other night, right?
Yes, we did.
What was that conversation like?
It was a very collaborative conversation. It was a very good conversation. And he didn't really want to engage on the issues of LA, which was the great irony of this. He wanted to talk about a myriad of other issues. There was no suggestion, none, period, full stop, about the National Guard. Quite the contrary. And by the way, I have a lot of experience with the National Guard. So do you here in LA.
Right.
We've been using the National Guard. I've directed the National Guard down here prior as it relates to issues during 2020 riots. And so we have no ideological opposition of utilizing the Guard, but there's zero necessity. There was no request of mutual aid. LAPD, the Sheriff's Office, no request. CHP, more than capable. We've got 175 CHP off today because of what Donald Trump did with the National Guard.
But we see some of the images in the streets today. We see cars burning. We see freeways being shut down. We see
unacceptable.
But it's clear that things aren't totally under control right now.
That's right,
Somebody's
because he's
failing.
created the conditions.
Yeah.
He's exacerbated the conditions. This is Donald Trump's. These are images that Donald Trump created.
You think he wants it politically?
Of course he wants it politically.
Why?
Because he wants to
Pause. Who are we believing here, Newsom or Trump?
divide us. He wants to attack the rule of law. He wants to attack the democracy. He wants to attack the best of what makes this country. The reasons our founding fathers lived and died. This fundamental notion of three independent branches, he can't handle. He's already taken over. Speaker Johnson's a joke. He's completely complicit. $2.5 trillion to your debt, wrecking the economy. Take Elon Musk's comments on that, just not mine. I mean, it's been a disastrous presidency. And so, of course, we're here with another distraction that puts, in this case, people's lives at risk. And he's testing the boundaries of the Constitution in a way that one can clearly argue is a constitutional crisis.
So how do you negotiate with somebody who may want these images?
You can't negotiate with them. Come on, no one can negotiate with them. I mean, no one can. I've gone out of great lengths to try to work with this guy. You can't work with him. You can only work for him, and I'll never work for him. And it's shameful, those that are, and that are complicit in this, and that are rolling over. And as I said, the founding fathers are rolling over in their graves right now watching this.
Do you, because the other night, or he came out and said that when you guys spoke, he warned you that if you didn't get things under control, he was going to bring in troops.
Stone cold liar. Stone cold liar. He made that up, like he makes up so many other things. He never said that.
And he also seemed to make up this idea that the National Guard did a great job last night when they weren't here.
They weren't even deployed, and he claimed victory. He's lost it. He hasn't lost a step. And I saw him trip on the steps today. Yeah. I mean, this is serious. He is not the same person that I dealt with just 4 years ago. And he's incapable now of even a train of thought. He's making things up, and he's putting people's lives at risk. And he's got a band of people that are complicit in this. And that's what's so damn alarming. And we need Congress to step up, and my gosh, do we need the courts.
But now that the National Guard are here, is there some good that they can do? I mean, those folks, there's a lot of great folks
there. They haven't even been mission taxed appropriately. Yeah. There's only 300 of them.
Is there anything they can do to help you?
These are great men and women. Yeah. I work with them all the time. They've been well received by the community down here. We know these folks. We care about these folks. And I worry about them now. I worry about their safety. He's putting their safety at risk. He doesn't know what he's doing. They don't know what they're doing right now. I mean, I got the CRT teams. I got some of the best and the brightest CHP that are trained for this. By the way, if you're going to use the right National Guard, use the MPs that were out there doing the work here in terms of logistics and traffic management.
Right.
But he didn't even use that
for the fires.
Those folks for the fires.
Right.
I mean, this proves it's just political game that puts people's lives at risk. So it's not a game.
I assume that you believe in immigration law and that there needs to be a way for these folks to carry out some of these.
We have never gone the way. State of California does not get in the way of federal actions using federal resources. I've also collaborated with the federal government and vetoed bills that would compel me not to over 10,000 times, 10,000 times from CDCR. We've coordinated with ICE on deportation. I am not sitting here arguing for criminals in our backyard. And I just want to remind your viewers, we have 394 National Guard down at the border that I've had there for years and years and years. Of course, we believe in immigration rules and laws. And of course, we were very vocal on the issue of borders. I think you and I went down 4 or 5 times on the border in events over the last 5 years. We were not passive in this space.
But when we have seen agitators getting in the way of some of these ICE agents who are trying to do their job.
Hey, these sort of anarchists.
What should happen to them?
They should be arrested.
Yeah.
They should be called out. We condemn that destruction of personal property. These groups come in, they have nothing to do with these peaceful protesters, these poor, peaceful protesters. These guys come in to take advantage of these moments, and that's exactly what we knew would happen. That's exactly what Trump knew was going to happen. That's exactly what his team knows. They help create these conditions to inflame them. This is Donald Trump's mess. What you see in your nightly news is Donald Trump's making, and we've got to clean up this mess. If he can't do it, we're going to have to do it.
It was interesting, the statement you put out reminded me, I'm reading Jonathan Ives' book about Martin Luther King, and he always tried to tell people, protest peacefully. You're throwing, basically you said that if you go out and do violence at this point, you're giving Donald Trump what he wants.
You're handing it to him. So stop. These guys, these idiots that are jumping up on cars, that are burning these Waymos, these people, that's a disgrace. And the impact they're having on our democracy, there's a lot at risk here. I mean, this is not just a simple act of disobedience. They should be arrested. They should be held accountable. Anyone who attacks any innocent person, including a law enforcement person that's lawfully doing their job, they're members of our community just like everybody else. They go to the same churches. They're good human beings. And you know, just because we don't like Donald Trump, just because we don't like their orders, doesn't mean you have the right to hurt or harm people. And that goes for them as well. And we'll hold them, everybody, to a higher level of accountability. But that's not what Trump is after. He's not for peacemaking. He's here for war. He wants a civil war on the streets of America, not just here. He's testing the boundaries by nationalizing the federal guard. Heck, his own great Kristi Noem was just a year ago sitting there with newsmaker Sean Hannity saying it's outrageous that Biden is considering nationalizing the guard in my great state. Kristi Noem, the same Kristi Noem, saying, what about state sovereignties and state rights? And where the hell is Hannity now? Where the hell is Kristi Noem? They're out there just singing the siren songs of chaos, trying to sow chaos and putting our democracy at risk. These are acts of authoritarians. Period, full stop.